In 1976, I was a kid in Akron, Ohio. I'm 7 years old and my father took me to my first football game ever. A father-son moment. My first exposure to professional sports. It was to watch the Cleveland Browns. We went to that old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. It sat right there on the edge of Lake Erie. It was going to be amazing. The only thing is, as some of you know, football happens in the wintertime, and Cleveland, right on the edge of Lake Erie, actually looks like this when you're a football fan. So I'm sitting there in the stadium. As a 7-year-old kid, I'm too small to see over the people in front of me. I don't know the numbers of any of the players or what their positions are. I have no idea what's going on. I'm sitting there in the freezing cold for 3 hours. It was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. Watching that football game was so terrible that I never understood why people would watch sports at all. From that point on, I wasn't a fan of any professional sports. I hardly went to any games of any kind from that point forward. Oh, except that one time that I accidentally went to see the Detroit Tigers and Justin Verlander threw a no-hitter. My brother Tom loves that story. But outside of that, I hated sports my whole life. And part of that was because of that fan experience when I was 7 years old in 1976. The reason I tell you this story is because I want to establish that some of the things I say today come from a non-sports fan. None of this is sacred to me. I'm comfortable blowing everything up. I'll say things today that you disagree with, but I'll also bring an outside perspective. And maybe that outside perspective will help you to think of new things in some new ways. These are some of the innovative things that are reinventing the way we interact with the world around us. Let's take a look. First, people don't want to be spectators anymore. They want experiences, and they want those experiences to be immersive. Like this.
Awesome. And I saw the firework. Oh, I'm gonna land in the ice.
And just like you can reach the mountain.
Do you want to go on again?
I need to see whole Canada.
I could feel the wind and the water splashing into my face. It was amazing.
Next, after 2 decades of using our phones and the internet to overlay interesting information on top of the content we're consuming, people expect to have data-infused experiences to augment what they know about what they're seeing.
I love that Formula One is this tech-centric competition. I believe it should be the benchmark for the way we combine sports and technology. The Apple Vision Pro allows for all kinds of new experiences, but so far, most of the things I've seen emphasize content in windows, and I want to see something that goes beyond that. Sure, I want to put windows and data everywhere, but you can kind of already do this with the awesome Multiviewer app. But what if I really took advantage of both my physical viewing space and the geography of the event itself? There's something so appealing about an architectural model, but alive and in perfect sync with a reality unfolding thousands of miles away. Today, we've evolved this concept. Give me a God's eye view of the entire circuit right on my coffee table. I can glance back and forth between the broadcast and this miniature slice of reality, see every driver's precise position, compare racing lines, and most of all, understand the geography of the track, something that's almost impossible to convey on TV. Could use subtle eye tracking to place a telekinetic emphasis on the data that I'm most interested in, or let me overlay various visualizations on this 3D track.
Virtual experiences are cartoony and rooted in game development like Minecraft and Fortnite. Grown-ups don't spend a lot of time in pretend worlds. But what if it didn't have to be like that?
Okay, just take a second and think about how much reliable video calls have changed our world. Now think about the way video was just 10 years ago. My team collaborates from all around the world. We live in totally different places and brainstorm together and feel like we know each other. I live across the country from my parents and I still feel like I see them all the time. I'd like to see them more, but I can FaceTime them. I know there's nothing that truly replicates being in person, but ultimately what we've been chasing this whole time with our telecommunications tools, from the telegram to the telephone to video calls, is how close can we get to feeling like it's real?
I'm gonna place my Formula One car just right in the middle.
The reflections are actually genuinely incredible.
And it doesn't jiggle like those old versions. It looks like there's a Formula One car in front of me.
It looks like you're gesturing at an actual car, which I'm sure on camera looks pretty silly, but I see it. This wing, pretty incredible. And here's the front wheel.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was finding out the entire engine is basically from here to here.
Yeah.
And the exhaust coming out the back right there.
Yeah.
So this is the engine, and then I can actually take the cover off of the engine. So if you just pinch your fingers and take the cover off, you see the V6 now?
Wait, I'm gonna turn it on.
Definitely do that.
Yes!
Now the aerodynamics are moving over the top of the car. How sick is that?
Next, let's talk about how users expect every experience to be technified. Technology is no longer an industry or a sector or a team. It's just a new way we do things in the world.
Right off the Vegas Strip is the future of entertainment in a way only science fiction could predict. Some calling it eye-catching. To others, it's out of this world. And when words fail, there's always an emoji. But this 366-foot shimmering exosphere is just the beginning, because what's inside there is even more mind-blowing. Just beyond 5 Aura robots is a taste of the most baffling sound system in the world. And finally, inside the sphere within a sphere, 168,000 square feet of high-definition LEDs, 167,000 speakers, 17,000 seats, and 10,000 of them powered by haptics.
It's impossible to describe.
Technifying our spaces is going to be amazing. It's going to take our fan experiences to whole new levels. But what if also fans didn't have to actually be there to experience some of the magic?
What do we want V10 to do? What is this device's potential? What's the big picture here? What is it for? If the Apple Macintosh helped unlock personal computing and the iPhone helped unlock computers in your pockets, what is this device supposed to unlock? This kind of technology isn't really for an infinite computer monitor or even playing solo surround video games, though those are very cool. This kind of tech feels to me like the most direct path to a totally sci-fi ability I never thought I'd be talking about in real life. Something that is physically impossible in the real world, but maybe not in the digital one. The ability to jump to any place, anytime, instantaneously, and be able to bring other people to you. And the word that normal people use for that isn't VR or AR or spatial computing. It is teleportation. I really think that digital teleportation is a possible future here, and that is the optimistic future I want to shoot for.
I know what you're thinking. VR goggles are annoying, they're uncomfortable, they're expensive, the battery life isn't long enough. No one is going to sit on their couch by themselves like a loser watching a sporting event for 3 hours wearing VR goggles. But actually, that's no longer required.
Darlene is my younger sister, and the last time I saw her was well over a year ago.
Not being able to see my nephew in person is like, it makes me sad.
So imagine instead of looking at a screen, you're looking at a magic pane of glass. And through that glass, you're seeing another person on the other side.
Hi, can you see me? Say hi to Auntie. Oh my gosh, I love you.
Eddie!
So, you look beautiful.
And then you just start having a conversation, just like you would if you were physically together.
Like, I feel like you're here.
This is wild. I can see that curl in your hair. I can see how your sweater is falling.
Yeah. But then you'll be saying, put on a little lipstick, Maury.
There are really 3 breakthroughs coming together here. One is the ability to capture people as they are, The second is the ability to compress that information and send it over existing networks efficiently. And the third is the ability to render that person viewable through a three-dimensional display. So it really feels like you're talking with someone right in front of you.
Don't say goodbye, don't go away. That was mind-blowing.
I've seen a lot, but I've never seen this.
I felt like she was present, and I felt like I was present in that moment too. It was like she was here.
How many of these seats do you think you can sell? How many seats right in the center of the 50-yard line? A few? A few dozen? A few hundred? What if the zip code that your fan lived in was no longer a factor in the seats that they buy from you? What if the magic window in our living room made it feel like we were right there on the 50-yard line? What if you could sell 10 million 50-yard line seats? What if you could build VIP lounges in every single state for every single football team? The fan experience is dramatically changing, and it's changing fast. Technology is powering amazing, virtual, remote, interactive, engaging, and visually stimulating experiences. And if you open your mind to some of these new possibilities, the next 50 years in sports entertainment is going to be magical. Let's reinvent the fan experience.